So then you've all voted, you've all declared your hand based on what you discovered in the interview and a little bit of reflection. You've declared your hand, you walk into the room, and then you find out where everybody else is voted. What do you do? Let's take a couple of scenarios. Let's imagine everybody has the same decision. Let's say they all say inclined to hire. What do you do then?
So that's a great position to be in. It doesn't mean you just say, well, I guess our job's done. You still at least test. Okay, great to see we're all inclined to hire for this candidate. And by the way, the facilitator, the hiring manager always has the privilege of going last because they can digest everything leading up to it.
Got it.
Because they've got the most important decision. So I'll often start with whoever has the contrary vote. If there's 3 not inclined and 1 inclined, I might start with the inclined. If there's 3 inclined, 1 not inclined, I might start with the not inclined. But if everyone's aligned, we're not done. We still want to make sure, are we sure that we've got the right decision at the right level? Because if everyone is so inclined, maybe this person's actually a level above what we're offering, because there's a lot of confusing title inflation, and sometimes people apply for a level not knowing it's a level below or above where they're really at. So you want to make sure, do we have it right? And for the hiring manager, are there any things that didn't dissuade you from being inclined that still is an issue for coaching and to look out for, and might be part of an early development plan? So you still want to go around, and what should the hiring manager know about how to coach this candidate?
Okay, so when you have a situation where it's a unanimous equal decision, you still debate because you may discover more. What about when, let's be extreme here, there were 6 people on the panel, 5 people are saying strongly inclined to hire, and you've got 1 at the complete other end which says strongly inclined not to hire. Does that strongly inclined not to hire, does that then trump everybody else and this person will not be hired?
It depends whose vote it is, and it depends how important their criteria is to the overall job success. Because in my example before with Tesco, we had 3 inclined, 1 not inclined, and that won the day because it opened the right conversation about good teams and collaboration. This is not a democracy, though. At the end of the day, you do not want to force consensus. It's nice if you can get it, but I've seen too many teams turn away great talent because they had 5 people on the loop and 1 person was just adamant that my bar is here. And if that person can't outcode me, I'm not hiring them. Is that the right bar? Maybe, maybe not. But at the end of the day, the hiring manager and the facilitator, bar raiser, or their senior leader, their opinion matters more than everyone else's. And I've made plenty of hires where we only, maybe we only had 50-50. And still made the hiring decision of, I think we've got the right candidate and the right job, because the things that somebody had for the negative, what you'd want to ask in the debate, is it coachable? And does the hiring manager have the willingness of time to invest in coaching on this? Or is it non-negotiable, like the collaborator?
Right. Yeah. Okay. So you may find that, people are not inclined to hire, but there's something you look at and think, yeah, but that's just a factor of experience, for example, or some knowledge they haven't quite gained yet, or a skill they need to develop, but you can commit to bringing that person on and then growing them. What sort of things would make you say, no matter what everybody else's vote is, we're not hiring this person because of that?
Well, I'm fortunate that over my 1,000 interviews I've done over my career of candidates, I have never had to enforce a veto, because as a bar raiser at Amazon, you have the power to veto a hire if you really think they're making a bad decision here. And good facilitation tends to have people arrive to an agreement of, this person isn't going to cut it and we shouldn't hire them.
Right.
Or we shouldn't hire them for this role. Maybe they're good for a more junior role. Like that can happen as well. So I don't look for consensus, but I guess I would look for, is there something that is so deficient? Sometimes it could be arrogance, could be a real problem.
Yes. Yeah.
Somebody feels, I already know everything. I don't need to learn what else is happening out there. I'm the greatest. That's a problem. If you don't have curiosity, if you don't have a hypothesis-driven approach, then I may have a problem with candidates like that.
Yeah, I've hired one of those. I hired this person that knocked it out of the park technically and everything else. And even in the interview, I even expressed to them a slight doubt about how they would work. But you know what? I went ahead and hired anyway, and it was a mistake. And I think it was 4 or 5 months, and they were removed. Yeah, so mistakes are horrible and nasty and expensive. Who makes the final decision? No matter what the voting is, whether you've got unanimity, is that the word?
Yep.
Or a split decision and you've just debated it, who makes that final call to say, yes, we're going to hire, or no, we're not going to hire, or even, no, we're not going to hire, but here's the follow on action?
Well, usually that is the hiring manager and or a bar raiser or facilitator in there. Because ultimately the hiring manager is going to be living with this role and this person. It also depends on how experienced the hiring manager is. If they're a vice president, I'm going to trust you. Like you know what a good team looks like. If you want to take the bet that you can bring this person along, like that's your call, and I'll support you in that. Like this is backbone and commit from the
Right.
Amazon.
Yeah.
If it's a new manager, new to hiring, I might not give them that much indulgence if they just haven't had enough managerial experience to recognize um, when you've got somebody who's going to be a problem in your team and is going to throw hand grenades into the cohesion.